And then when we sing, when you hear your letter, you're gonna lift it up. Okay? For example, I am a C. And then I am a CH. There we go. I am a CHRISTIAN. There we go. And then you go back down. Go back down. And I have CHRIST. No, that's true.
Oh, that's the trick.
That's the trick. You have to stay there when you hear your letter, okay? Can you help us? Okay. You need a key? Let's see, that's a key. I'm gonna do it slow first. Very slow. Everybody, I am a C. 1, 2, 3. I am a C.
Boom, boom.
I am a CH.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the bitty bitty babies in his hands. He's got the bitty bitty babies in his hands. He's got the bitty bitty babies in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Everybody sing. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. You and me, brother. He's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. One more time. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Everybody here. He's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got everybody here. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. One more time. He's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole wide world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the whole world. Now listen. He's got the whole. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole 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 wide world in his hands. He's got the whole 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 world in his hands. Your turn. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Everybody sing. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. One more time. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
I spy with my little eye two teenage girls. Anybody see two teenage girls around church? Okay, I spy with my little eye two teenage girls sitting in the front row. There they are. Everybody say hi to Samantha and Bella. Hi Samantha. Hi Bella.
Hi, good morning. We're going to be reading Numbers chapter 22, verses 21 to 28, if you guys want to follow along. Balaam got up the next morning. He put a saddle on his donkey. They went with the Moabite leaders, but God became very angry because Balaam went. So the angel of the Lord stood in the road to stop Balaam. Balaam was riding his donkey, and he had two servants with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road. The angel had a sword in his hand. So the donkey left the road and went into the field. Balaam hit the donkey to force her back on the road. Later, the angel of the Lord stood on a narrow path between two vineyards. There were walls on both sides. Again, the donkey saw the angel of the Lord. So the donkey walked close to one wall. This crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, so he hit her again. The angel of the Lord went ahead again. The angel stood at a narrow place. It was too narrow to turn left or right. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord, so she laid down under Balaam. Balaam was very angry and hit her with his stick. Then the Lord made the donkey talk. She said to Balaam, "What have I done to make you hit me 3 times?"
All right, good morning, boys and girls. Hello again. What do you think about that story? A talking donkey. Can you imagine that? Wow. So today we are talking about Jesus. This is what we're talking about this whole morning. And back there we have a little bit of something for you guys. Let's go to the previous one, Sabine. First place. First, something for all the adults. I remember that Pastor Lafitte must be mentioning about a business meeting happening next week, but that is going to be moved to, actually says here, September the 8th. We have a nominating committee that's coming up. We'll give you more information about that. But we're going to be meeting for our board meeting and the beginning of our nominating committee starting on Saturday evening, September the 3rd. 8th, September the 8th. So that's coming about 2-3 weeks. So put your calendars, mark your calendars for that date. Pastor Lafitte will be giving you more information on that next week. Okay, for the kids, next slide. We're looking at Wild About Jesus. Wild About Jesus. What do you hear about? What does it mean to be wild about Jesus? What does it mean? Here.
Pray to Jesus.
That means you have to pray to Jesus. Anyone else? What does it mean to be wild about Jesus? What do you think?
To love him.
To love him and I don't know what else. Okay, that's good. That's good. So we're going to try to look at a little story today to see what does it mean or why could we be wild about Jesus. Let's go to the next slide over here, so we can probably do from really that Balaam and the donkey. We're going to look at the story of Balaam and the donkey. Yes. Yes. What? We'll have another for later on. Look at the story of Balaam and the donkey today. So to give you an idea of what happened with the story, I'm gonna have to get you guys to listen. You're gonna have to listen. Here. Next slide here. So to give you guys a short version, because we're not gonna do a 45-minute sermon today. I can guarantee you that. Do you remember, how many of you guys have seen the story of the Prince of Egypt or the 10 Commandments? So there was this, yes, many of you remember. So there's a section in there after the children of Israel crossed the Red Sea and after God gives them the promised land. They need to go and they need to conquer. So there's this guy by the name of Balaam. Balaam was a good guy who went bad. Can you believe that? Good guy that went bad. There was a king that hired Balaam in order to try to curse God's people. So say a lot of bad things about them. He hired him. So Balaam, this is what we read from the Bible. This is what the 2 teenage girls were helping us out with. Thank you so much. We pick up the story after Balaam was on his way. He decided to follow these guys that had hired him in order to curse the people of God. So what we find is that the next slide says this. So we're checking this out. It says, the angel of the Lord went ahead again. The angel stood at the narrow place. It was too narrow to turn to the left or to the right. The donkey saw an angel of the Lord, etc., etc. But there comes a point where God made the donkey talk. How many of you guys have heard a talking donkey before? Has anyone heard a talking donkey before? Raise your hand. Anybody? How many of you guys have wished that your animals could talk? See, there's more people. Let me ask you this. Can you imagine being so angry? Can you imagine being so angry with something that you hear a donkey start talking to you and you don't say, a talking donkey? You're so angry that you start arguing back with the donkey. Can you imagine that? This is what happened with Balaam. Balaam was in a situation that he was so angry with this donkey that even though God opened the donkey's mouth to be able to talk, he didn't say, hey, what? You're a donkey and you're talking. Instead, he was so mad, he said, you made me look stupid. I'm here walking, and if I had something, I would hurt you. I would kill you. I'd be so mad. I'm so mad with you. This is so weird. He was so mad. But you know what the donkey said to him? It says here, the donkey responded back to Balaam, I am your very own donkey. You have ridden me for years. Have I ever done this to you before? And Balaam said, No, you've never done this to me before. So then the Lord let Balaam see the angel. The angel of the Lord was standing on the road again with his sword drawn, and then Balaam bowed down, face down. So here's what was happening. This donkey was riding, right? Balaam was on him. There was this angel that was really upset with Balaam because he was going to curse God's people. And so the donkey saw the angel and he went to the side, and Balaam started hitting the donkey again. And so the donkey just kept on going. He saw the angel again, and Balaam kept on hitting him again, and the donkey just saw the angel, but Balaam didn't see the angel, and he kept on hitting him again until God opened his mouth. Here's a little lesson for us. Next slide. See, God's silence doesn't equal God's absence. So, in this case, God was silent, but it was only the donkey that could see what was going on. Balaam couldn't see that. Sometimes in our lives, we may not be able to see where God is, but it doesn't mean God isn't there in your lives. It may not mean that God isn't doing something active and doing something really real for you. So we're going to talk a little more about that later on. Next slide. So here we find this awesome situation here. Check out this story. Check out this slide. Isn't that cool? He has like a yellow shirt just like yours. Here, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. This is like, what's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse. So Jesse has this really, really nice shirt on. It's like, yes. Wow. So this is perfect. Thank you, Jesse. And I want you to put those glasses on too. Put on the glasses. That helps. See? So the angel of the Lord was standing like this on the road. Jesse was ready with his big arm muscles, right? And Balaam couldn't see it. He couldn't see it. The donkey saw it. He was ready. And Jesse, do you remember what did the story say? What did the angel say? What did he say?
He said that God was being responsible to him.
See, this is good, but we didn't actually read that part. That was a trick question. Here's what it says. Next slide. I want you to read this with me, Jesse. The angel of the Lord asked Balaam, say this.
Because why have you been a donkey that dies?
Might be my accent. I said, why have you hit the donkey 3 times? Until the Lord said that. That's what he said. He said, why you did it 3 times? I have stood here to stop you. What is doing wrong? I tried to stop you, and really what happens is the donkey saw me. She turned away from me 3 times. If she had not turned away from me, I would have killed you now, but I would have let her live. Can you imagine this? Jesse. The angel of the Lord was so angry that he would have let the donkey live. That's crazy. What do you think of that? How old are you, by the way?
I run super fast away.
He runs super fast away, so he's at that age that he's really quick. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse. Take off your glasses here. Take a seat over here with the rest of the stage. So, check this out, boys and girls. We're going to finish with this. God opposed Balaam, and he opened the donkey's mouth. And so afterwards, after the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, after they had the conversation, Balaam realized something. Listen up. He realized something bad. He said, I have sinned. I did not know that you were standing on the road to stop me. If I'm wrong, I will go back. But then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with these men, but say only what I tell you. So Balaam went with Balak's leaders. And you know what happened after the story? I'll tell you. Next slide. What ended up happening? Oh, go back. No, actually that's good. That's good. Go forward. Let me tell you a story here. I love the lesson, kids. That sometimes it's the very things that frustrate us that try to help us. See, Balaam was upset with the donkey. He didn't understand why the donkey was stopping his progress. But it was actually the donkey that was trying to help him. And sometimes in our cases, it's the very things that give us frustration and give us anger that God may be trying to use those things to help us, to develop patience. So like teachers, you may not like the work that they give you, but they're to help you get smarter, to grow. Our parents, you may not like that. They send you to your room and ask you to pick up the trash and to put your clothes in the hamper, but they're trying to help you to have discipline. So here's what happened with Balaam at the end. Next slide. So what ended up happening is that Balaam went with these men, but he got to the point when they started saying, make a curse or pronounce a curse against the children of Israel, the only thing he could do was pronounce a blessing on them. So instead of cursing God's people, the only thing Balaam could do was to bless God's people. And so here's a lesson for us, that it may seem like sometimes we don't know what to do. We are even sometimes going in the wrong path, but God at the end of the day, He will do His thing. He will follow us, He will defend His people. And as you pray for peace, pray to follow the Lord's guidance and do your part, God is going to help you guys in wherever you go, in school, at home, and wherever you are. So next slide, here. Here's another last point. If God can use a donkey, He can use who? He can use you. In Genesis chapter 3, the enemy, Satan, used a serpent. And a serpent back then was considered a very crafty, a very wise animal. But here, God uses a what? A donkey. And what do you think about when you think of a donkey? Maybe stubborn or dumb or whatever. God can use even a donkey to do amazing things. So if He can use a donkey, He can use each one of you. So this is going to lead us to a prayer activity for everyone in the crowd, as well as these kids up front. Next slide. Some of you may have gotten these finger puppets. Can you guys look inside your bags for finger puppets? Come take about. And same thing, or Miss Karen, did you give them out? So, if you have a monkey, raise your hand if you have a monkey. Raise your finger if you have a monkey. Okay. If you have a monkey, this is what you're going to be praying for. You're going to be praying for the sick, dying, the weak, the homeless. Okay? Next one. If you have an elephant, raise your finger if you have an elephant. All the elephants. An elephant never forgets. Right? So you that have the elephants, you're going to be praying for those closest to you. Your friends, your family, okay? Next slide. Or next. Who has a giraffe? Who has a giraffe? Do you have a giraffe? Yes. Giraffes are tall. Thinking about organizations. You're going to be praying for those positions of leaders. No, that's leaders. It's leaders. Principals and teachers. Okay? So giraffes, you're going to pray for the leaders. Next one. Lion. Who has a lion? Okay, you all have a lion. If you have a lion, you're going to be praying for those who are an example of Christian life. Those are pastors or elders, any ministry leaders, or even your parents. You're going to be praying for them, okay? And next one. Zebra. Who has a zebra? Zebra. Zebras travel in packs. Zebras travel in packs. If you have a zebra, you're going to be praying for your concerns, your plans, your hopes, and fears. Your hopes and fears. And the next one, there should be a last one. Huh? 6. It was supposed to be 5, but we have a special one. It's a tiger. Who has a tiger? Good. All right. And if you have a tiger, you're going to pray for your community, the country, and the world. Okay? So what we're going to do, I want you to spend 3 minutes. How many minutes did I say? 3. 2-3 minutes. We're going to have silence in the church. I want you to pray for the things that you've been assigned to. For the sick, the people closest to you, leaders, the example of Christian life, your concerns, or your community in the world. Okay? I'm going to give you a few minutes to pray for that together. Are you guys listening? Maybe, maybe not. It's okay. This is Children's Sabbath. It's Sabbath. Here's something that it's important for us to remember as teachers and as parents. This is good. This is a very good thing. Remember that when the disciples were with Jesus, and the disciples were like, these kids are so loud, tell them to be quiet so we can hear you. Jesus said, what? No. Let the little children come unto me, and don't stop them, because unless you become like these kids, you won't enter the kingdom of heaven. So I want a church that's loud. I love a church that's loud, and so does Jesus, amen? All right, boys and girls, we're going to spend a few minutes praying, and we're going to talk to Jesus, okay? So I want you boys and girls to be quiet and close your eyes, and let's pray together, okay? Let's bow our heads. Let's pray.
So, it's going to be like this. We're going to try and do a trial run. Remember, I need a lot of air. Figure this.
Joshua fought the battle of Jericho.
Y'all can sing too.
Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho.
time. It's your song. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. 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 Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. And the walls came tumbling down. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. 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 Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. And the walls came tumbling down. Oh, well, you may talk about the man of Gideon. Well, you may talk about the man of Saul. Said, but it's not like good old Joshua and the battle of Jericho. Yeah. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. 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 Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. And the walls came tumbling down. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. 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 Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. And the walls came tumbling down.
Thank you.